Hello and welcome to our energetic channeled message for this second week of April 2025. So this is being channeled on April 8th, so it is for this week and into some of next week, and a little bit of a theme probably for the entire month. So the energy coming through is that of sadness and grief and heartache and heartbreak, but maybe not necessarily in the ways that you would think. It is a sadness and a grief from letting go of things that do not serve us. We spent so much of winter, never mind all of these years leading up, doing so much healing, so much purging, so much healing, so much work with boundaries and loving ourselves and moving out of these old habit patterns and into what is in more in alignment. And part of this is letting go of the old. And it is very natural to have this grief and this sadness around it. And it sometimes manifests as this spontaneous crying or sadness where you can't really trace it. You don't really know why, because you've done a lot of the healing work around the thing. The thing isn't sparking as a super obvious thing necessarily all of the time, because you've cleared so much of that deeply rooted stuff. It's a sadness and a grief of moving past it. You've cleared this stuff and now you're kind of moving into this new phase, this new version of yourself, this up-leveled version of yourself. And it come in order to evolve and to step into this new version of yourself, we have to let go of some of these things. And we can know it's for the best. We can know it all is serving us and still be sad. And we want to not judge that. Don't judge the sadness. Don't judge the grief. Sometimes this can be, oh my gosh, I left an abusive relationship and I know it's for the best. I know that this is what I need. Yet I'm still grieving that and why I shouldn't grieve that. And then you kind of shut those emotions down. And that's the last thing you want to do. We can know that this is for our best. It is for our healing. It is for us to step into who we've meant to be. It's balance. It's our boundaries. This is right. And still feel sad and still grieve and still have that sadness. Both things can be true and are true. And feeling like it has to be one or the other. If I allow myself to feel the sadness and grief, then I'm not grateful or I'm going to fall back into this. That's not the case. It's part of the process. And it's because it's a part of you. And it's a part of your story. And it's a part of who you've been. And it's a part of what you contracted for yourself to experience in this lifetime. So no, we don't necessarily want to completely disassociate from it or completely disconnect, because these things that we're healing from, these challenges and these things that we're overcoming are stepping us into the place that we're meant to be. They are the stepping stone for our magic and what we're here to offer the world. Our story matters and it is relevant, and we're not here to forget about the story. We're not here to forget about who we've been and how far we have come. We are here to heal that thing and allow it and take our power back from it. What happens when we heal and we clear these energetic root causes of these things, they no longer have power over us. The story can still exist. It can still be your story, but you don't have to be in victimhood anymore. You can acknowledge that I was a victim and I played the role of victim and I went through this experience, but heal from it and no longer have this thing or this person have any power over you. And that's when you really step into the most empowerment, by acknowledging who you've been, what you've been through, what your story is, but not letting it have power over you. Being able to come from a very empowered place. That is the magic. That is the alchemy. That is what we are here to do. And so, it can almost, in some ways, sometimes it leaves us with this bit of identity crisis, especially when it's big stuff, right? Especially when it's moving out of victimhood. Who am I if I'm not a victim of this thing? Who am I if this person or this situation does not have power or control over me? when we exist in a space where we don't feel free, and then we heal and we step into freedom, sometimes we don't even know how to act or what to do, and that can almost be terrifying. I mean, the ego freaks out over anything new, and that's what makes us want to revert back to comfort. But we're here to evolve and to step into that and be brave and be fearless, and use the story to help those of us that are here to hear the story, to help heal these other people. We don't go through these things for no reason. They're for our evolution and also for our magic, and so we can step into this next thing. Okay, I'm just looking at my notes. So it tends to be kind of two things in this grief and letting go process, right? Whether it could be a trauma, a big trauma from maybe childhood or, even adulthood, whatever it is, some sort of trauma where you were the victim, or, something along those lines. And it might not be like a solid trauma, a one-time event. It could be, I grew up in poverty and that's all that I know. And I'm healing all of the ancestral and karmic wounds and the programming and the belief systems around poverty. And I'm stepping into this new thing. And there's a bit of me that is attached to this poverty way of living and this existence, this way of being. And that is part of what we're talking about. So it may not necessarily be a trauma, but it might be an old energy that we're moving out of, and it can be a very subconscious trying to cling to it because it's comfortable and familiar. And again, what do I do with this newfound freedom? Who am I if I have freedom, or if these things are not controlling me and I have a say and I am sovereign and I am fully standing in my power? So just recognize that little bit of fear that might be showing up from the ego out of this newness, right? And just, think about soothing your new nervous system and taking some deep breaths and reminding yourself that you're safe and that this is what you want and that you are brave and that you can embark on this new journey with courage. Okay, so it's when it comes to something like a trauma or a story, right? The story of your life. I live in poverty. I was in an abusive relationship. I was abused as a child. Whatever it is, these are our stories. And again, the idea isn't to pretend it never happened. I think through the healing process, we kind of go through phases of that. But when you are kind of coming out of it, and this is the message, because there's obviously a lot of people that are coming out of some of these really big things. Again, it's not to completely disassociate. It's not to pretend it didn't happen. That story matters. And knowing that it will always be a part of you and that you can always take it with you and you get to alchemize it, right? It happens to, we contract this thing to happen to us. We heal from it, which is a process, right? We come out of this victimhood, we stand in our power, and now we get to alchemize the experience while we're on the other end of it. It's magic. It's complete magic. And then the other kind of big category would be people that we're maybe letting go of or moving away from that are not serving us. We know that these relationships are not serving us, yet we're grieving it and we're sad about it. And that's okay. Again, both things can be true. We can know and acknowledge that this person, this relationship is not serving us. It's not balanced. They are toxic. They're draining us, whatever the case may be. Maybe we're just going in different directions in life, and we can grieve the way that this relationship is changing or ending, and also still hold love for them. And that's okay. Both things can be true. You can love someone from afar, right? And you can acknowledge that maybe they did maybe they were abusive, but maybe it started out beautiful. Maybe you learned beautiful lessons from this person. Maybe they taught you a lot about yourself, even through the negative components of this relationship, right? We can have gratitude. We can acknowledge that they are not serving us. We can acknowledge that we need to take our power back and be sovereign beings and grieve the ending. It's okay. We are so used to, many of us, viewing relationships and people as the best versions of themselves. And sometimes we're grieving the what could have been, right? But you're smarter than that. You know that someone's going to show you what they are going to show you. Who they are is what they're going to show you. And we can see the potential all day long. And it's not up to us if someone else is going to meet that. And so you can grieve the potential of them, the potential of the relationship, how the relationship was when it was good, so many different things, while still letting go and acknowledging the sadness and holding your boundaries and knowing that you deserve better. All of these things are happening simultaneously, and it can be really confusing energetically and emotionally. The idea here is, when these emotions are hitting, just process them. Don't overthink them, because you've already done the work. You don't need to go back into it, right? Just let it flow through you. It is okay. This is the epitome of self-love. And, all of these things can be true. And this is hopefully affirming all of the decisions that you've made of whatever you're letting go of or trying to let go of, or unsure if you are ready or have the strength to let go. You do. I promise you do. I promise you you're making the right decision. And I promise you that it's okay to feel all of the feelings about it. This is empowerment, and this is how we alchemize from this sovereign and empowered state. This is how you step into your magic and your purpose. So congratulations on making it this far and doing so much work that has brought you here. It is a lot. And I see that, and I hope that you see that in yourself. All right, I'll see you next week. Mwah. Bye.